You know the physical feeling. Someone insults you, crosses a boundary, or goes out of their way to provoke you. Instantly, your heart rate spikes, your chest tightens, and you feel an overwhelming urge to explode. Most of us are wired to treat that explosion as a necessity. We are taught that hitting back, defending our pride, and getting the final word is the only real proof of strength. Thousands of years ago, a powerful warrior approached Gautam Buddha with a fire burning in his chest, trembling with uncontained rage. He asked Buddha a question that has driven human conflict for millennia. How do I destroy the enemies who constantly insult and provoke me? The warrior's desire to crush his external triggers is the default setting for human nature. But the conversation that followed suggests that this default system is actually a trap. Instead of matching the warrior's aggression, Buddha met him with silence. He remained unbothered, looking at the man with a calm, steady gaze. When he finally spoke, Buddha explained that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. This reveals a flaw in how we handle conflict. The internal weapons we use to defend our ego end up degrading our own well-being, while the person we're angry at remains unaffected. If fighting back only poisons the defender, then power cannot be found in destroying external enemies. Strength has to be defined by something else entirely. To find that strength, we have to look at what we might call the physics of emotion. There is a mismatch between our physical tools and our psychological threats. Buddha illustrated this by telling the warrior to imagine swinging a heavy sword at the empty expanse of the sky. You can strike with all your might, putting every ounce of your energy into the attack, but eventually your body will give out. You will end up exhausted and depleted without ever having made contact with the target. Through all of that violence, the sky remains untouched. It doesn't move, it doesn't fight back, and it isn't harmed by the effort. We often treat insults like physical objects we have to cut down, but trying to use force against an intangible provocation is a waste of energy that only wears you out. True strength when facing an insult means abandoning the sword and becoming as unbothered and intangible as the sky. The warrior was still restless. He asked how he could possibly stay calm when his mind was racing and the world around him was so chaotic. Buddha's answer relies on the paradox of inaction, the fact that peace is often repelled by the very act of chasing it. Think of a river where the water is stirred up. The mud rises, making everything cloudy. If you try to solve the problem with effort, by reaching in and forcing the mud to stop, you only stir the water more. Every movement makes the cloudiness worse. But if you leave the water alone, the mud settles on its own. Without any effort from you, the water becomes clear again. Our minds work the same way. When you fight, judge, or chase your angry thoughts, you're just stirring the mud. You're adding energy to the very storm you're trying to escape. Clarity isn't something you manufacture through exertion. It is what remains when you stop disturbing the water and let the internal turbulence settle itself. By combining these lessons, we see that mastery isn't about dominating others. It's about maintaining the internal self while the external world remains in flux. During a conflict, you can choose to sit like a stable mountain. You become a silent witness, simply observing the heavy thoughts as they pass by, without being swept up in them. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember that you have a choice. You don't have to pick up the sword or swing at the air. By refusing to absorb someone else's chaos, you attain your clarity and keep your power exactly where it belongs, with you. True strength isn't about destroying the enemies outside. It's about mastering the storm inside. If this message helped you find clarity today, subscribe for more.